All right, welcome in everybody to another edition of Dream Talk. I'm one of your hosts, John Kopstick. I'm joined again by Nick Armstead. Special guest today, Jamelle Cornley, who is the Du Bois Dream's first committed player to be on their TBT roster this year. We'll get to him in a minute. We want to touch on a couple things related to the Dream right now. Community Day is coming up on June 12th. So whether that's the Tournament of Champions, just all the events around Community Day, or basketball as well, we want to give you some information on that. So basketball, for those who don't know, we have a basketball hoop attached to a bus. And while you're at Community Day, you'll be able to pay a few bucks to get a shot on the bus. If you make your free throw, you'll get entered into a raffle to win a 65-inch TV. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully the next time you see me and Nick, we'll be sporting our basketball shirts. So stay tuned for that. The Tournament of Champions. If you would like to be in the 3-on-3 Tournament of Champions, please go to DuBoisDream.com to sign up on the website. We want everyone to obviously sign up in advance, in case things get kind of crowded toward the date. But with that, we'll welcome in Jamelle Cornley. Jamelle, thank you for being in today. We're really excited to not only have you on, but also see you play for the Dream, hopefully in about a month in TBT.
I appreciate it, fellas. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Thank you for being on. All right. So I'll get it started. How did you start playing basketball? Talk about what age. Did you look up to anybody? Could be a sibling. It could be, a parent. Could be someone else in your family.
I started off young. I started off around 5 or 6 years old due to the blessings and the lineage from my father, Hank Cornley, who was able to have a successful career in Columbus. And from Columbus Mifflin, he was able to go to Illinois State and play in a very tough conference along with great competition. And then from there, he participated in the 1984 draft along with, the greats of Michael and Charles Barkley, John Stockton. But he was later on in the rounds. But he put the ball in my hand, and he was my first, I guess you could say he was my first idol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very important. So obviously, you had a successful career playing basketball, but I saw that you went to Penn State. You're a Penn State alum. Mm-hmm. And what made you gravitate towards a Big Ten school like Penn State?
Well, I grew up watching Big Ten basketball. Being from Columbus, Ohio, I really didn't have a choice but to gravitate towards the Buckeyes and what they were able to provide in terms of the athletes that came through there. So I'm not necessarily a Buckeye. However, I grew up watching and supporting a lot of the guys who helped me today, actually. So watching the Big Ten, watching Michigan State, watching Penn State as well, Purdue with Big Dog, Michael Finley, Wisconsin, Mo Pete, Mateen Cleaves, and guys at Michigan State. I grew up in it, so it was not necessarily a no-brainer because I had been recruited by others, but it was a special opportunity for my family and I to not only participate in a great conference, but they were able to travel to some of the neighbor states and cities that allowed us to get a better look and better understanding of what Big Ten basketball really was like.
So it wasn't really a tough decision. It was pretty clear cut. I want to play in this conference.
Well, to be honest, during the recruiting process, I had no inclination of really where I was going to go. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I got on campus where it really sealed the deal. Like, you get on campus as a college town. Fortunately enough, I had a great host who at the time was Marlon Smith from out of New York. And then I met great players, who are now considered brothers to this day. And that was Danny Morrissey, Mike Walker, Travis Parker, Gary Claxton, Brandon Haskell. And they took me under their wing from day one, including my visit. And after that, that's when I know.
So now I want to move a little bit more towards stuff specifically towards TBT. So the first thing I want to ask you, are you a fan of TBT? Do you watch it every summer? And then along with that, how important is it and how excited are you to finally be able to play?
I love the TBT. I think it's a great opportunity for players like myself who have been itching and yearning for the opportunity to play in front of their family and friends, let alone it be on national TV. Some of us, we were in that era, coming out of 2009, where the game sort of changed professionally. We had a lot more stretch fours, hybrid fours, tweeners, and however, when we went into college, that wasn't really the trend. But since then, you've got players that have really made a name for themselves. 3 and 4 year players that have gone overseas, learned how to play the game, learned where their strengths and weaknesses are, learned how to be efficient and effective, and then created their own art. And then they're able to come back here and kind of remind some guys like, hey, man, you forgot about me, but I'm here, you know?
Yeah. And speaking about that, you yourself, you've been a professional hooper in a plethora of different countries across the world. So you just said that, people are able to kind of tune up their game overseas and then come back to America, play in TBT and kind of remind everybody what they're about. So how about from your experience, from all the overseas games and experience that you have, what are you hoping to bring to the table in TBT? And on the court, what can we expect from you?
Well, first and foremost, you always want to respect the game and keep it professional. These are professionals out here, and these are guys that make a living doing this, and they have to support their families. But I've always figured that I live in that lane of what the game's been missing. So there's some real talk, there's some fire, but at the same time, we keep it respectable. And win, lose, or draw, you got to feel me. And I would like the same thing. Healthy competition is really what it's about. That's what I feel like I bring to the table. I know there's some others that feel as though they bring the same. And so we're all fortunate to have a platform such as the TBT that allows everybody to really get off and let the art speak for itself.
Awesome. And then one of your previous answers, you were talking about how you grew up in Big Ten basketball. Obviously, you went to Penn State. So there's a chance that the dream could be placed in Columbus. They could be placed in Illinois, close to where there's Big Ten roots and close to where you're from.
Right.
So, not only speak to when you were at Penn State, what was it like to be a part of those Big Ten rivalries, but also, are you looking forward to potentially playing against another Big Ten team of alumni once you get to TBT?
I can't say that I'm looking forward to anything more than the opportunity to be on the floor in front of family, friends, and good competition. But to your point, in terms of other Big Ten, it's always there. And even when, for instance, if a team, if Michigan State or if Michigan was in the tournament, I'm still rooting for Big Ten. So we're still a family, but in terms of the competitive banter and the competitive spirit, it really doesn't matter. I've got ties in Illinois. Was actually born in Illinois, but I just look forward to the overall competition from any and everywhere. If it's Big Ten, let's get it popping.
So you actually mentioned that you're from Illinois. You grew up and you were born not too far from Champaign, where House of Pain might be hosting a regional. You went to high school in Columbus, and then obviously you also went to Penn State, not too far from where the Dream are located. And you also used to coach in the PBL in the same league as the Dream. So with all the ties that you have to different areas, whether that's cities or that's the Dream or the league that is the PBL, is there a personal element to this whole thing for you? And is there like a personal element to you wanting to play in this tournament, given that you have so many ties everywhere?
Of course. You at this stage and point of my life, not even career, but at this stage and point of my life, I make a lot of decisions based off my last name and making sure that I represent those that have allowed me this opportunity to see and be proud. So, and anything that comes from the TBT opportunity, I'm going to forever be grateful. So there's some. It's a very humbling time in my life to be able to have an opportunity like this, and to just see what happens. I'm in that stage of really kind of like what I think Carmelo Anthony said it where I'm here to give back what I've learned, not what I've earned. And that's really what it's about. I mean, I've had a strong, loyal support system, from parents to step parents to grandparents and to a village in Columbus, Ohio, as well as the fan base at Penn State, and in Happy Valley. So I just look forward to making sure that everybody's proud, and that I'm able to put together a product and help lead some other men or help contribute with other men and doing something fun. Because at the end of the day, it's a game, but it's a game that we love to play.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Nick, I'll kick it back to you. I was kind of taking up some time. I'll let you get the mic back.
No, you're good. So my question is, obviously you played for, a lot of overseas teams, you were very successful. Now you see a lot of, top tier high school players not, playing in the NCAA tournament. They want to play overseas to get to the NBA. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that's going to be more common?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that last part? You said guys going overseas.
Yep. We see it more often now. What are your thoughts on, players playing in the G League hypothetically, or also playing overseas to get to the next level?
Wow. That there is tricky. And because it starts with your upbringing and your maturity level. See, I can't blame or knock anybody who wants to take an opportunity to make money playing the game and help provide for your family. However, there's some individuals who may not be mature enough to go to a foreign place or area and really find success and even pretty much immerse or ingratiate themselves in somewhere that they're unfamiliar. So it's a flip of a coin. But I think it is important for us to keep our players here. And I mean, you've got guys like, let's just use an example of Luka Doncic. Yeah, they're coming. And they're coming. And the more guys that are coming from overseas that come over to this league, there's less opportunity for other people. So you got to do whatever you got to do to get the experience and to make the money and to utilize the opportunity to the best of your abilities. So I like it. I think some people love it. And then there's other people that say, that's not for me.
Mm-hmm. Now I have one more question before I kick it over to John. Obviously, you're still playing. Are you 34? I don't want to get this mixed up.
Yeah, I'm 34. I'm just trying to pass for 28. I'm trying to pass for 28, but yeah, I'm 34. I just turned 34 April 18th.
Mm-hmm. What finds something interesting, I would say, about you is that, you're still playing the game. I would say, what motivates you and keeps you, continuing to play, or what's your mindset like?
Let's start.
Because it's very impressive. A lot of people, when they start getting older, they might, not take it as seriously.
Yeah.
You hear players, if I don't bring that same energy every day, I might as well retire. But, you and a lot of good players out there, they're still playing competitively.
I think there's a part of you that understands that the game can humble you and it can be taken away. I had one or two instances where the game was taken away, whether it be due to injury or just due to pure arrogance. So the game humbles you, and then you start to adjust your life, and then you understand that you can continue to get better and get better. And we'll use guys that I won't say I don't idolize anyone, but I use people for healthy admiration. So we'll use guys like Stephen Curry, LeBron James. These guys are continuing to get better by taking the time and taking care of their bodies. I even watch other sports, Roger Federer, Djokovic. You can still find ways, you can still find fundamentals to master and find other ways to challenge yourself mentally. So it's a mental game with me right now. It has nothing to do with beating anybody or even earning a certain amount of money. It's more so about just knowing that I got up today and I used this opportunity, this basketball in my body to maximize the opportunity to become the best player I can be.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. And I feel like a lot of people, if they're just like a casual sports fan, no matter what sport it is, they usually just kind of write people off like after they turn 30 years old almost. So, it's awesome to see that you're still playing at this age.
It gets greater later, John. It gets greater later. You just got to take the time, and there's some sacrifices in between that, though. Your diet changes, but it's understanding the angles of the game, and when you start to find the angles, and you're willing to make the sacrifices for your nutrition and getting up every day, and you're able to not only you're not only able to love what you do, but you respect what others do.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very well said. One more question for you, Jamelle. We'll kind of lighten up the mood a little bit here. So we've been posting polls on our Instagram page, having our fans on social media decide and pick who they think is going to win each NBA matchup in the playoffs. So when we get to the last round and we get to the NBA Finals, who do you think will be there and who do you think will win?
Okay. Yeah. The Anthony Davis situation is real. So if everyone is healthy, I see it as I see Brooklyn. I'm gonna go with Brooklyn and the Clippers.
Really? Wow. Okay, I think that's a bit of a bold take. The Clippers look dead to rights after 2 games in LA.
You go with Brooklyn and the Clippers, man. I know. I'm gonna catch some heat for that. But I don't know about this Anthony Davis situation.
Okay. Well, hey, maybe in about a month or sometime we'll be seeing a Brooklyn and an LA Clippers finals.
Cool.
But that was another edition of Dream Talk. Thank you everybody for tuning in. For John Kopstick and Nick Armstead, Jamelle, thank you for being on with us. Looking forward to hopefully getting to meet you in person sometime during the summer and also seeing you on the court pretty soon. Thank you for being on. Look forward to seeing you soon.
John, Nick, thank you for the opportunity, man. It's an honor and privilege.
Thank you.
Yeah, the pleasure is ours.